Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Good Morning Soul. And today we're going to be doing a comedy special review, which I think this might be my first one. I don't know. It's weird to think that because I've seen a lot of comedy specials. It's always been some like I've reviewed in the background, like I've done written reviews for them, and I feel like I've done at least some kind of like vloggy style review here or there that I must have done or something, but never before Good Morning Soul did I have like a platform to really do that without like putting a video out on the main channel, which anxiety. So that's why this channel exists, by the way, for cool shit like this. And so I would have done more of these for Good Morning Soul, but I unfortunately just have fallen off the comedy bandwagon. I know there was a time when I was watching like comedy specials like every other week, like there would be a new one, or I would have them on in the background. I still sometimes do that. I'm trying to think of the last one I even watched. I definitely wasn't doing Good Morning Soul, so it's been a minute. So I took the time. I think a big part of that is like I don't sit down just to watch a comedy special anymore. Like if I'm setting aside an hour to watch something, it's like something usually different. But this was one case in particular where I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and watch something for an hour. Scrolled through Netflix, found this, and I happened to find Russell Brand Rebirth, and his comedy special, if it's about anything, is about how he recently became a father and how that's changed his perspective. And Russell Brand is like one of those. Before I went into this, like it was a little bit, 'cause I thought he was only exclusively an actor. I didn't know he did comedy, and the few movies I've seen him in are, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, obviously, which there's a funny reference to that in this. And I've seen Get Him to the Greek, some other bullshit. So I know, like, I was aware that he was like crazy. Like he's one of those celebrities. He's like one of those Shia LaBeouf, Bill Murray internet characters, like that you like, oh, apparently behind the scenes when they're not being an actor, they're fucking crazy and they're doing all this weird shit that you hear about. So that's what Russell Brand was to me. And he, I will say I like this special, by the way. I feel like comedy specials are such a unique way to experience a person. Like if I could watch 1,000 of these, like, and learn 1,000 people, like kind of get to know them. That's why YouTube videos are so great. It's their point of view, their state of mind and being, what's important to them surfaces, and like the most human parts of them surface as they're trying to entertain us, right? And sometimes their perspective seems like the right one. But Russell Brand, his style of comedy, I don't think is really all that funny to me. I was definitely laughing a couple parts throughout this, but he's deep British, and what I mean by that is he talks really fucking fast. And for a lot of comedy, like I've seen a bunch of English comedy movies that are like super funny, but this one in particular, like his style, I think just doesn't mesh well with me because he'll usually go on these really weird tangents. He'll do a lot of impressions, reference people sometimes I'm not familiar with, and then it's like there's two trails where I was just like blanking out at what he was saying after a while, and I just kind of let my mind go somewhere else, and I was like, oh yeah, like once he brought it back, I was like, okay, yeah, you were talking about something, and I completely ignored you. Right? So I felt like that was bad. The cohesion there wasn't that good. But other than that, there are these little tangents that he'll go on that are more philosophical. A couple of the big ones were about corporate consumerism, I guess, or just the invisible hand, as Mr. Robot would say. Which is like, it was weird. I was watching that like yesterday, and then Russell Brand's here talking about it immediately, right then and after. But he goes into a couple loops about that. There's a little bit like that hit me when he was talking about when he walked out of the hospital, like being a father, what that was like, and how life is what was the word he used? Consciousness. Like, you are conscious to whatever you are doing. Whatever you are doing in that moment is present. That is existence. That is life. A couple cool little bits there. I like that kind of shit. I felt that was a much more personable thing than him like screaming really fast, being like, "Ah, shit! If you ever tried cocaine or heroin," like, or when he was talking, "Oh, like my fucking jizz, I throw it everywhere," or whatever that joke was. I've definitely paraphrased it there, but there's those little bits. Like, he doesn't look super comfortable even. I like that he takes tidbits, like for his act. He'll like bring up pictures on, like, he'll talk about interviews he's done that he's fucked up. He's like there's this one where he got super serious for no reason out of nowhere. I laughed my ass off for that part. But overall, it's like, I feel like I know him a little bit more. Like, if I see him in a weird headline, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, that guy. That bipolar motherfucker who I guess used to be addicted to drugs. Like, I like that there's a point in the stand-up special where he labels himself as, like, the people he acts in movies, he portrays a thinly veiled version of himself, but wearing a funny hat. And on top of that, he's like, not that I'm getting those calls lately anyway. So I felt like that was because those movies were like 7 years ago, right? Get Him to the Greek. Sarah Marshall was even longer ago. So he's probably, I don't want to say past his peak, but like, he's definitely evolved, and hence the title, I guess, Rebirth. He's definitely rebirthed into a new person, as I feel like turning into a father would do that to you. It's like one of my great anxieties of like all time. It's like the second I have to be responsible for a whole other entity, you know, there's a whole other sentient being out there that I have to take care of. Anyway, I think that's gonna be it. I gave this one a 6 out of 10 on Letterboxd because, you know, again, I'm comparing those to movies, but comparing it to other stand-up specials, yeah, it was pretty good. It was worth watching. He has a lot of fucking charisma, and he's definitely funny. Like, I enjoy his sexual freedom, I guess, and just what he's wearing. Like, he's wearing something that, like, I would definitely not be comfortable in, that shirt, and like pants with chains, and he's fucking thrusting at the audience and shit. Funny shit like that, I just feel is like a way to, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. It's 3 in the morning and I'm tired, so I'm gonna cut this one off. Anyway, thank you again, and with that, I leave you.